Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Coach Jeff. Today's advice relates to when should you text a girl after you had your first date and you had a really great time and you're really interested in seeing her again. There's been a long-standing debate between men and women and really everyone in general relating to when you should text a girl or when you should text after a first date, whether it's, when you get home from the date or maybe the next morning. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do either, and that's going to really increase your chances of getting her on a second date and her attraction level for you in general. But before we get into it, I would love if you give my channel a follow, this video a like, and comment your thoughts below on today's advice. So when you finish having that first date with a girl and it went really well and you're really into her, you had really good vibes and you really want to see her again, you probably have that great feeling and you're really itching to kind of text her again and keep that communication going and basically trying to make sure she doesn't forget you because you really want to see her again. You have that level of excitement and, it's a reasonable feeling. We all experience it. And your first thought is, man, I should text her right now and say what a great time I had, say how much I want to see her again, and really just kind of keep that flow alive that you had during the date. The problem is that this excitement can be detrimental based on actions that you're going to take, which without the understanding of feminine energy and women in general, you will make these mistakes which will lower her attraction level and make it more challenging to get her out on a second date. So like I said, the most common thing is that people will either text the girl right after the first date when they get home or the next morning to tell them how great a time they had and how they can't wait to see her again. You lay everything out as clear as day. You tell her, how amazing she was, how much you want to see her again. And basically everything we've been shown to do in all the TV shows and all the media today, you basically go and kind of do exactly that to try and raise her attraction level and get her into you. She may initially respond to those texts in an okay manner, but if you continue that kind of approval-seeking behavior, it's going to start to have negative effects on her attraction level for you, and you're going to start to do the opposite of what you're intending. This is because you're not really leaving any room for her imagination to build a story about you and create attraction for you in her mind. You're already basically telling her right up front, hey, that was great. I want to be with you. I want to see you again. That was amazing. She's in a super comfort zone when she should be wondering, hey, does he actually like me? Because that kind of scarcity of attention builds attraction. So if you did everything well on that first date, you made her laugh, you asked all about her, made her tell you about herself, kind of left a lot of mystery about yourself to her, and then you don't text her right after that first date or the next day, she's going to start to wonder about you. She's going to start to raise that attraction level in her head because she knows you guys had a great time. She's going to start to, have interest in you because of the lack of information you gave her about yourself if you left yourself to be a mystery. So if you don't text her, all these things are going to kind of kick her emotions off and thinking, I had a great time with this guy. He made me laugh. He was very sweet. He was fun. Why isn't he texting me? Like, I had a great time. I really want to see him again. These feelings are going to start to build if you don't give it all away up front by texting her right away. She's going to start gossiping with all her friends about the date and maybe even her family and her sister or something like that. And she's going to go, we did this, it was a great time. And they're going to start asking her questions like, oh, that's awesome. When are you going to see him again? And they're going to ask all these questions and she's not going to have too many answers. And that's going to start piquing her interest. And she's going to realize that she wants to see you again. And that attraction and those emotions are starting to kick in. And she's going to become really interested in you and more attracted in you because you've left this mystery. And now she has to build that story in her head, what's going to happen next. This is going to have an upward impact on her attraction level. Another reason to do this and not text right when you get back home from the date or even the next day is because it's going to set you apart from the other guys. She may be in her dating phase where she's dating, 2, 3, 4, whatever amount of guys it is. And the majority of those guys are going to be all in her texts, trying to win her over, trying to get attention from her and kind of claim their spot. And if you're the one guy that's not, and she had a great time with you, trust me, that is going to set you apart from all the other guys and you're going to start to stand out in her head because she knows where all those other guys are. She knows they're trying to get her attention. She's like, hey, what about this guy? What's he up to? I kind of wonder what he's doing. And really, if you are that one guy who's not sending any texts, this is going to build her attraction. It's going to show that you're a very comfortable and confident and secure guy. And she's going to be like, what do I need to do to get him to text me? She already knows where all those other guys stand. They basically, confessed all these feelings to her, which you would have done as well. And you haven't done that. It is completely counterintuitive to do this. And I am guilty of doing the complete opposite for most of my dating life when I was younger. But when you do understand these concepts and understand psychology, it has a massive impact on the attraction you create by taking the right actions. It's not playing games, it's just taking the right actions and being confident in who you are, that you don't have to go out and prove yourself and seek validation. She'll know that you liked her and had a good time to a degree, but if you don't text, she's going to wonder about you and start to kind of build up that attraction for you. And that's all positive things for both of you. So at this point, you're probably like, all right, Coach Jeff, we get it. So when should I text her after we've had our first date? And the actual answer to that is, ideally, she should be texting you. You want her to contact you, because that's going to be an expression of high interest. The entire point of being a little bit more mysterious and not texting her right away after that date is because you want to see where she's at. You want to see what kind of time she had. So for example, if she texts you, let's say you drop her off or you split part ways, whatever it is, and you get home that night, and she texts you and says, I had a great time, so-and-so, thanks so much for the date, it was lovely. You can reciprocate and answer back. I'm not telling you to ignore her. You can't be stupid. You got to use your intuition and common sense. What I'm trying to say is, if she texts you, I had a great time, thanks for everything, blah, 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 you can reciprocate and say, thanks so much, I had a great time with you too, it was a lot of fun, good night. What you don't want to do is don't be asking her for a second date in that communication. You want to make her build that story and see if you're interested. You both just agree that you had a great time, right? You had a great time, thanks this, thanks that, good night, but she doesn't know you want to go out on a second date. Even if you're dying to go out on a second date with her, right? She's going to start to wonder in her head. Now, if she texts you that night and says, so-and-so, Bob, Jim, whatever it is, I had a great time tonight, I would really love to see you again, then you can go ahead and make a second date with her later in the week or the following week or whatever it is, because you'll understand that she's showing that high interest. She is literally telling you, I had a great time, I want to see you again. Your job on that first date is done. You created that hot rapport, you've created that high interest and that attraction, and she wants to see you again. So there you go. She's suggesting it, not you. So if she does text and, ask you for that second date or say she's interested in seeing you again, go ahead and make that second date. If she texts and says, she had a great time and that's really it, you reciprocate, say you had a great time and good night. If she doesn't text at all, you do not text her when you get home from that first date. You do not text her the next day. If she doesn't text you maybe 3-4 days, maybe around the 5 to 7, like about a week, like a business week or 7 days, at that point, you can reach out to her and try and set up a second date for either, let's say you go out maybe on a Friday, maybe next week on the Wednesday or Thursday, you can contact her and see if she wants to go out on a second date, either that weekend or the following week, you can set that date. But do not text her when you get home from that first date, and do not text her in the next couple of days afterwards. Let her emotions build, let her gossip about your date, let her talk to her friends, like I said, and let her kind of build that attraction for you if you did everything right. I mean, if you contact her and she doesn't seem very interested in all when you contact her maybe that 5 to 7 days later, then don't worry about it. That's it. You can kind of tell where her interest is at. You want someone who really wants to go out with you and have fun with you, right? So don't spend a lot of your energy trying to woo someone over whose attraction just might not be there. There's so many people on this earth. Like I say about this advice and any other advice I give, this is not about playing games. This is not about going tit for tat with somebody. This is about understanding the psychology and putting yourself into situations where you're going to get high quality, high character women who you can assess the situation and build their attraction for you. And it's an exciting thing to do once you understand this. And you should be confident in yourself while you're going through this and not being unsure. I will say that in that scenario where she does text you after that first date and kind of says, I'm really interested in seeing you again, and he wants that second date, it's going to feel really, really good. And you're going to be very excited about that. But don't let your common sense just disappear because of that excitement. Let it be, still have your guard up a little bit and understand that she's still on a probationary period with you, just as you are with her. It's only a second date. You still got to spend more time together and get to know each other some more. And from that, you'll start to learn a lot more about this person. But as good as it's going to feel, and it does feel really good, especially if you're really into her, don't let it just disarm you totally. The reality is, even if she's really, really attractive to you, that doesn't just mean that she has every part of her life, in a more stable state and that everything else is fine with her. There still could be a lot more to learn and a lot more negative red flags that may come out of spending more time with her. My cautionary tale was one of my ex-girlfriends. After we had our first date, which was we went out to a restaurant for drinks and appetizers just to hang out and and kind of get to know each other a bit. I was so blinded by the excitement of the good time that we had that I didn't even think of the thought that there might be insecurity and clinginess. And I was so kind of just blinded to this thought. I wasn't very well educated on the topics at the time. I didn't really understand feminine and masculine energies. And she had basically called me within 10 minutes of us we both drove ourselves to the restaurant. So within 10 minutes of leaving, we were going our separate ways. She had called me and was basically expressing how great a time she had, how much she wants to see me, and was very emotional about it. And I was so just clueless at the time. I was extremely excited. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, she's so into me. This is what every guy wants, right? They want a girl who's really into them. So I was completely blinded to these concepts and just kind of literally lost my wits, and just my guard was completely down. And at that time, I was just so focused on, wow, she really, really likes me, that I was just oblivious to the fact that although she had very high attraction for me, maybe she was just a little bit too clingy, and I was just completely blinded to that. And long story short, a lot of those insecurities started to come out over the relationship that we had. And there were a lot of just negative things, which would have been signs I probably could have been more attuned to had I understood these concepts back then. But I guess it's like everything, right? You got to live and learn. And that's one of the reasons why I like teaching this stuff today. And small side note, it was after that relationship where I went, okay, something's up here. I really need to understand, what am I doing wrong? Because I know all the really great positive qualities I had and success that I was having in other areas of my life. What am I doing wrong in this area of my life with relationships and women? So that's when I really kind of went and started researching and learning and reading all about masculine and feminine energies, and learned so much in reading all about this, and really started to understand all the areas I went wrong. I get it. It's hard for guys to do. I know the whole guys don't ask for directions kind of thing, but if you're serious about making your life better, you got to put away the stubbornness and just let it go, and take the time to start, really putting some value into these areas of your life, because it completely changes your life and your perception of things. And the happiness that you feel is pretty much unexplainable until you work hard to attain it. And it is worth every second. That's why I teach this stuff. I believe in making the best we can of ourselves. I believe that if there's better men in the world, there'll be better relationships in the world. And if there's better relationships in the world, there's going to be better cohesive parenting and better kids. And overall, it makes the world a lot better place down the road. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but you see so much going on right now. And I walk around every day. I live in a major city in North America. I walk around every day and see a lot of, miserable people, and people with just looking down, just kind of going through the motions of their daily life. And I just think that, it's been kind of conditioned to us where we're just supposed to kind of listen to what everyone else tells us we're supposed to be doing, rather than take ownership of your own life and try and improve it any way you can. And the first place you can is starting with all these internal factors and really understanding things that go on in your life, and you can bring a lot of this happiness. So that's why I coach this stuff. That's why I want to see happier guys, because the more confident you become, the better experiences you start to have in life. Similarly, in the video I made about not texting a girl after you've made that first date, in between that time of when you've made it to when the actual date is, not texting a girl right after the first date, either right after or in the following days, will also work in your favor in being able to screen out certain parts of her personality that you may not have picked up on when you're on that first date. In other words, if you reach out in that, 5th, 6th, or 7th day I mentioned after your first date, and she acts very bitchy and starts kind of reaming you out as to why you didn't call her or text her after your first date, or why you waited so long, that's a really big red flag, in that she's showing a lot of insecurity and, just a whole lot of negativity that you do not want to deal with. I wouldn't want to deal with it, so I hope you wouldn't want to deal with it. But there's really no reason to act that way, right? I don't know if it's insecurities, that she's just assuming that you're playing games with her or going to see other people. Whatever it is, there's not really an excuse for it, in terms of you don't need to put up with that behavior. It's good to understand this way up front rather than get down the line and start to see these personality traits. You want to call and text after those 5 to 7 days, and you want her to be excited that you called and texted. You want her to be like, yes, I'm so happy you called. I've been thinking about you. I really want to go on a second day with you. Whatever it is, you want positivity. You don't want her to be insecure that you didn't call, because maybe you were busy during those 5 days. Yes, you had a great time, but you had work, you had projects, you were, maybe you were traveling. Whatever it is, you were living your life and kind of doing what you should be doing on your purpose as a man. And she should be okay with that. She shouldn't be reaming you out after one date because you didn't call in between. So bottom line is, this basically acts as a form of screening, and these are things you have to pay attention to that are detrimental to you down the line. So to finish up, it's going to be a theme of my advice. It's a theme of what guys should be overall. You need to be confident. You need to be confident and unbothered by, what I just mentioned about negativity or people just bitching you out or reaming you out. You need to be calm, cool, and collected. Those are the 3 C's that I live by, and you have to be that way. And you're basically unbothered and unperturbed by anybody bringing that negativity your way. So in this case, you want to be able to not text her and see how she reacts. In doing that, you're also letting her attraction build so that when you do text her on that 5th or 7th day, she's going to be excited to see you. And if she isn't, well, her interest may just not be that high in the first place, and you may consider moving on to find somebody else or, call any other girl that you are dating as of right then. But the point is, you want somebody who's excited to see you. And if the girl isn't that interested in you, don't go chasing after her and texting her saying, what's wrong? What did I do? Did you not have fun? Again, that just screams weak, needy, and insecure. And you want to be a person of abundance. You want to have that abundant mindset, right? Where it's like, okay, I understand. Cool. I did have a great time. Best of luck with everything, and move on. That's it. You don't want to show any signs of weakness. And it's not even that you want to show it. You're not trying to hide or mask it. You don't want to have those feelings at all. You want to be strong and secure and an abundant mindset. And that's something you need to work on for yourself. And I did it for myself in my early 30s after I learned this stuff. And it really does work. And it really sets you off for success in so many areas of your life. But you have to be willing to put in that work. If you put in that work and become the best that you can be, as lame as it sounds, I don't care what anybody says, those positive feelings and all the different things that come out of doing that will start to show in your life, and you'll start to see the world from a different perspective. I'll say it time and time again. You're going to hear repetitive themes in my advice, but that's because these are the concepts that really do work. And these are the things that set apart people who are happy in their life versus people who, like I said, I live in a major city. They walk around with their head down all day, just kind of going through the motions, going to work and going home, and don't really have a purpose, or at least haven't figured out their purpose. You don't want to be that person, because living life on the other side of that is a million times better. Thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment below your thoughts on this advice. Also, if you need any relationship advice, don't be hesitant to email me at questions@elevatemyrelationships.com. That email will be in the description of the channel, and I would love to answer any questions you have pertaining to your scenarios. I'll see you next time.